Bhakti, the Art of Eternal Love, was prepared from the introduction and the first chapter of Srila Prabhupada's translation of Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu called The Nectar of Devotion, along with transcripts of lecture he gave on that book in 1972 and 1973 in Vrindavan, Mumbai and Kolkata. तो ये बुक बेसिकली जो नेक्टर ऑफ डिवोशन बुक है उसके से लिया गया है, उसके इंट्रोडक्शन पार्ट से। उसका फर्स्ट चैप्टर जो है उसके ऊपर प्रभुपाद ने जो भी लेक्चर्स दिए उससे लिया गया है। ओके, सो वी विल स्टार्ट।
Introduction. Love is one of the words we use most in understanding. The problem is that there are many kinds of love. One of the distinctions we can make between different kinds of love has to do with time and duration. How long love can last. Some love lasts a few days. Some last some last a lifetime. Some last forever. Most love expires later, but in vain. Love between bodies and power and temporary because the lover's bodies are temporary. But what about the soul? The lovers not made in the eternal spiritual world and they enjoy deathless love. Perhaps, but the question is, how do we get to how we get to the spiritual world? That that requires a special kind of love. That love between the individual soul and supreme soul, God. Actually, we are caught in a web of temporary, unsatisfying, and loving relationship because we have forgotten how to love God. So the spiritual um, love between the individual soul and the supreme soul is most important kind of love. That is the only love that is truly eternal. Actually, every other kind of devotee, every other kind of love we experience is just like a reflection of the original loving exchange between the individual soul and the supreme soul. This special love is called in Sanskrit Bhakti, and the process of awakening that love is called Bhakti Yoga and the art of eternal love.
Bhakti involves three things: the lover, the beloved, and the loving relationship. In Bhakti, all three are eternal. The lover, the individual soul, and is eternal. The beloved, the supreme souls, is eternal, and the loving relationship, Bhakti, is also eternal. In the 16th century, an extremely advanced expert in Bhakti Yoga named Srila Rupa Goswami wrote a handbook on its theory and practice. He called his book Bhakti Rasam, Rasamrita Sindhu, the ocean of the nectar of divine love. For a long time, its secrets remained locked in the ancient Sanskrit language. Fortunately for us, a modern master of the knowledge and techniques of Bhakti Yoga, His Divine Grace, Srila A.C. Bhakti Vedanta Swami Prabhupada translated the book into English and began training his mysterious. Srila Prabhupada titled his translations The Nectar of Devotion. Love, in its material manifestation, it's usually associated with places. A lake, a city like Paris in the springtime, or a beach where one walked with one's beloved. In the same way, spiritual love is also associated with places. The highest such place in Vrindavana, an earthly manifestation of the eternal spiritual places where God enjoys loving pastimes with his eternal association in the spiritual sky. In Vrindavana, there are many temples, and one of them, the Radha Damodara temple, is forever associated with Rup Goswami because his physical form is interred there. A small memorial of him called as Samadhi rises in one of the temple courtyards.
Before he came to America in 1965, Srila Prabhupada lived in a quiet room in the Radha Damodar temple, and through his window he could see and draw inspiration from the Samadhi of Rupa Goswami. 7 years later, Srila Prabhupada returned to the Radha Damodar temple, and in the courtyard near Rupa Goswami's Samadhi, he gave for his disciples a series of lectures on the nectar of devotion. Selections from those lectures, full of deep spiritual insight into bhakti, have been interwoven with excerpts from the nectar of devotion to form the substance of this book. We invite you to share in Rupa Goswami's teachings on Bhakti Yoga, the art of eternal love, as they have come down to us from his foremost modern follower in disciplic succession. If we can learn to love God through Bhakti Yoga, then we can learn to love everything and everyone else in the proper way, in the way that will bring us the most happiness, the best happiness, the happiness of eternal love. तो बेसिकली यहाँ पर मैं एक शॉर्ट में 2 मिनट में बताऊंगी कि मटेरियल वर्ल्ड में क्या होता है, हम लव को बहुत ही इजीली वे में यूज करते हैं, या कोई भी आजकल एक दूसरे को आई लव यू वगैरह बोल देता है, बट उसको रियल में उसका मतलब नहीं पता। तो देखा जाए तो लव जो है किसी भी बॉडी के बीच में होता है, और वो बॉडी क्या टेम्परेरी है, तो इसलिए उनका जो लव है वो भी टेम्परेरी होता है। बट जो एटर्नल स्पिरिचुअल वर्ल्ड में जो लव होता है वो एटर्नल होता है। तो बट हाउ कैन वी गेट द स्पिरिचुअल वर्ल्ड, तो ये क्वेश्चन आ सकता है। तो हमें ऑलरेडी वो स्पिरिचुअल वर्ल्ड है हमारे पास, बट द प्रॉब्लम इज कि हमें अभी वो एटर्नल लव नहीं है। सो दैट काइंड ऑफ स्पेशल लव बिटवीन दिस इंडिविजुअल सोल एंड सुपर सोल, तो स्पिरिचुअल वर्ल्ड अटेन करने के लिए हमें क्या करना पड़ेगा, भगवान के साथ जो हमारा लविंग रिलेशनशिप है उसको रिवाइव करना है। जब हम वो रिवाइव कर पाएंगे तब हमें जो वैकुंठ का जो लव है वो मिल पाएगा। और उसके लिए हमें क्या करना पड़ेगा, उसके लिए हमें भक्ति योगा प्रैक्टिस करना है। और भक्ति में क्या होता है, 3 चीज़ें होती हैं, द लवर मीन्स जीवात्मा, द बिलवेड मीन्स परमात्मा, एंड उनके बीच का लविंग रिलेशनशिप। तो ये तीनों चीज़ें एटर्नल होती हैं। भक्ति जो है लविंग रिलेशनशिप है, तो वो एटर्नल है। और 16th सेंचुरी में बेसिकली श्री रूप गोस्वामी ने भक्ति रसामृत सिंधु को लिखा था। भक्ति रसामृत सिंधु का अगर हम इंग्लिश ट्रांसलेशन करें तो ओशन ऑफ नेक्टर ऑफ डिवाइन लव, तो ये उसका ट्रांसलेशन है। तो इसमें उन्होंने बेसिकली भक्ति योगा के बारे में एलैबोरेटली बताया है, और फिर श्रील प्रभुपाद ने इस भक्ति रसामृत सिंधु को हमारे लिए इजी वे में ट्रांसलेट किया एज नेक्टर ऑफ डिवोशन। तो यहाँ पर जो लव है बेसिकली हम मटेरियल वर्ल्ड में कहाँ देखते हैं, पेरिस में, स्प्रिंग टाइम में, या बीचेस के अराउंड। बट वृंदावन, जहाँ पे जो स्पिरिचुअल लव है वो कहाँ पर हमें मिलता है, वृंदावन में। और वृंदावन में बहुत सारे टेम्पल्स है, उन्हीं में से एक है राधा दामोदर टेम्पल। तो श्रील रूप गोस्वामी की वहाँ पर समाधि है, और बिफोर श्रील प्रभुपाद अमेरिका जाने से पहले राधा दामोदर टेम्पल में रहते थे। और श्रील रूप गोस्वामी की समाधि से हमेशा प्रे करते थे, उनसे प्रे करते थे। और इसलिए हमें रूपानुकास भी कहा जाता है, बिकॉज हम रूप गोस्वामी के फॉलोअर्स हैं। रूप गोस्वामी बेसिकली कौन थे, वो षट गोस्वामी में से एक है। और अभी जो हमने डिसाइड किया था, श्री चैतन्य मनोभीष्टम स्थापितम येन भूतले, तो इस वर्ष का भी मतलब ये है कि सबसे पहले हम रूप गोस्वामी को ऑफिसेस ऑफर कर रहे हैं, जो कि चैतन्य महाप्रभु के जो उनका जो मन है उसको इजीली समझ पाते हैं। और चैतन्य महाप्रभु का मन क्या था कि हर किसी को वो भक्ति दे पाए, तो उसके लिए उन्होंने भक्ति रसामृत सिंधु लिखा, और फिर प्रभुपाद ने उसको ट्रांसलेट किया एज नेक्टर ऑफ डिवोशन। तो ये जो बुक है भक्ति द आर्ट ऑफ इटर्नल लव, तो वो नेक्टर ऑफ डिवोशन के कुछ एक्सर्प्ट से ली गई है, मतलब उसके कुछ पार्ट से ली गई है, और इसी में जो प्रभुपाद ने लेक्चर्स दिए हैं उससे ली गई है।
Nectar of Devotion is a summary study of the Rasamrita Sindhu, which was written in Sanskrit by Sri Rupa Goswami Prabhupada. He was the chief of the 6 Goswamis, who were the direct disciples of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. When When he met First Lord Chaitanya, Sri Rupa Goswami Prabhupada was engaged as a minister in the Muslim government of Bengal in India. He and his brother Sanatana Goswami were named Kabir Khas and Sakar Malik, respectively, and they had responsible posts as ministers of Nawab Hussain Shah. At that time, 500 years ago, the Hindu society was very rigid, and if a member of the Brahmana caste accepted a position of service under a Muslim ruler, he was at once rejected from Brahmana society. That was the position of the two brothers, Dabir Khasa and Sakar Malik. They belonged to the highly situated Saraswata Brahmana community, but they were ostracized ostracized due to their acceptance of ministerial posts in the government of Hussain Shah. It is the grace of Lord Chaitanya that he accepted these two exalted personalities as his disciples and um, raised them to the position of Goswami, the highest position of Brahminical culture. Similarly, Lord Chaitanya accepted Haridas Thakur as his disciple, although Haridas Thakur happened to be Similarly, accepted Haridas Thakur as a disciple, although Haridas Thakur happened to be born of a Muslim family, and Lord Chaitanya made on him the Acharya chanting of the holy names of Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare. Lord Chaitanya's principle is universal. Anyone who knows the science of Krishna consciousness and is engaged in the service of the Lord is accepted as being in the higher position than a person born in the family of a Brahmana. That is the original principle accepted by all Vedic literatures, especially by the Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam. The principles of Lord Chaitanya's movement in educating and elevating everyone to exalted post of the Goswamis is taught in the Nectar of Devotion.
Lord Chaitanya met the two brothers, Dabira Kasha and Chakra Malika, in the village known as Ramakeli in the district of Malda. And after that meeting, the brothers decided to retire from government service and joined Lord Chaitanya. Dabira Kasa, who was later to become Rup Goswami, retired from his post and collected all the money he had accumulated during the service. It is described in the Chaitanya Charitamrit that his accumulated saving in gold coins equaled millions of dollars and filled a large boat. He divided the money in a very exemplary manner, which should be followed by devotees in particular and by humanity in general. 50% of his accumulated health was distributed to the Krishna conscious persons, namely the Brahmanas and the Vaishnavas. And 25% was distributed to relatives, and 25% was kept against emergency expenditures and personal difficulties. Later on, when Chakra Malika also uh, pro- proposed to retire, the Nawab was very much agitated and put him into jail. But Chakra Malika, who was later to become Srila Sanatana Goswami, took advantages of his brother's personal money, which had been deposited with a village banker, and escaped from the prison of Hussain Shah. In this way, both brothers joined Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Rup Goswami later called Chaitanya at Prague, Prayaga, Allahabad, India, and on the Dasasvedha, Dasasvedha, Dasasvamedha bathing Ghata of the holy city. The Lord instructed him continuously for 10 days. That Lord particularly instructed Rup Goswami on the science of Krishna consciousness. These teachings of Lord Chaitanya to Srila Rup Goswami Prabhupada are narrated in our book Teachings of Lord Chaitanya.
Later, Srila Rup Goswami Prabhupada elaborated the teaching of the Lord with profound knowledge of revealed scriptures and authoritative reference from various Vedic literature. Srila Srinivasa Acharya described in his prayers to the six Goswamis that they are all highly learned scholars, not only in Sanskrit but also in foreign languages such as Persian and Arabic. They very scrutinizingly studied all the Vedic scripture in order to establish the movement of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu on the authorized principle of Vedic knowledge. The present Krishna consciousness movement is also based on the authority of Srila Rupa Goswami Prabhupada. We are therefore generally known as Rupanugas, are followers in the footstep of Srila Rupa Goswami Prabhupada. It is only for our guidance that Srila Rupa Goswami prepared his book Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu, which is now presented in the form of the nectar of devotion.
हरे कृष्ण तो नेक्टर ऑफ डिवोशन भक्ति रसामृत सिंधु का एक पूरा स्टडी है, वो संस्कृत में था तो उसको ट्रांसलेट किया प्रभुपाद ने। और रूपा गोस्वामी कौन है? 6 गोस्वामी में से एक है, जो कि डायरेक्ट डिसाइपल्स थे चैतन्य महाप्रभु के। और चैतन्य महाप्रभु सबसे पहले रूपा गोस्वामी से मिले थे, और तब रूपा गोस्वामी एक मुस्लिम गवर्नमेंट में एक प्रिंसिपल की पोस्ट पर थे, मिनिस्टर की पोस्ट पर थे। तो वो और उनके ब्रदर सनातन गोस्वामी, तो जब भी कोई मुस्लिम की पोस्ट एक्सेप्ट करता था तो उनके नाम चेंज कर दिए जाते थे। तो उनका नाम था दाविर खास, उनके भाई का नाम था साकार मलिक। तो पहले के टाइम पे ऐसा था कि ब्राह्मण जितने ज़्यादा स्ट्रिक्ट थे, वो बेसिकली ब्राह्मण फैमिली, सारस्वत फैमिली से थे, सारस्वत ब्राह्मण। बट क्योंकि वो लोग मुस्लिम की पोस्ट एक्सेप्ट की थी, इसलिए उनको सोसाइटी से निकाल दिया था। लेकिन चैतन्य महाप्रभु ने उनको एक्सेप्ट किया। इस प्रकार से उन्होंने हरिदास ठाकुर, जो कि एक मुस्लिम परिवार से थे, हरिदास ठाकुर स्वयं ब्रह्मा जी थे, और उनको एक्सेप्ट किया था चैतन्य महाप्रभु ने, और उनको हरिनाम का आचार्य बनाया था। सो चैतन्य महाप्रभु का प्रिंसिपल यूनिवर्सल है कि क्या जो भी कृष्णा कॉन्शियसनेस के बारे में जानता है वो हाईएस्ट पोजीशन पे है, नो मैटर वो कौन सी वनाश्रम धर्म की कौन से उसमें सेक्टर में आता है। और ये जो इसका जो ओरिजिनल प्रिंसिपल है, ये बेसिकली भगवत गीता और भागवतम में दिया हुआ है। और द प्रिंसिपल ऑफ लॉर्ड चैतन्य मूवमेंट, इसको रूपा गोस्वामी ने नेक्टर ऑफ डिवोशन में बहुत इजीली इसके बारे में बताया गया है। और चैतन्य महाप्रभु इन दोनों ब्रदर से कहाँ मिलते हैं? रामकेली में, जो कि मलदा डिस्ट्रिक्ट में आता है। तो तब रूपा गोस्वामी ने क्या किया था, अपनी पोस्ट से रिटायर हो गए थे, तो उनको जितने भी पैसे मिले थे उन्होंने उसको डिवाइड किया था। तो उन्होंने 50% बेसिकली डिवोटीज को दे दिया था, 25% अपने फैमिली मेम्बर्स को दिया था, और 25% खुद रखा था। तो जब बाद में साकार मलिक यानी कि सनातन गोस्वामी भी रिटायर कर रहे थे, तो नवाब जब बहुत ज़्यादा गुस्सा हो जाता, उनको जेल में डाल देता। फिर सनातन गोस्वामी, जो रूपा गोस्वामी के पास में 25% मनी थी अपनी इमरजेंसी के लिए, उन्होंने उनको दे दिया, और यूज़ करके फिर वो जेल से बाहर आ गए। उन्होंने जेल का जो अधिकारी था उसको पैसे दे दिए थे। फिर रूपा गोस्वामी चैतन्य महाप्रभु से इलाहाबाद में मिलते हैं, उनके एक और भाई रहते हैं अनुपम गोस्वामी उनके साथ में। और वहाँ पर लॉर्ड चैतन्य उनको 10 दिन तक सारी चीज़ें बताते हैं कृष्णा कॉन्शियसनेस के बारे में। तो ये हमने टीचिंग्स ऑफ लॉर्ड चैतन्य बुक में पढ़ा था, जो चैतन्य महाप्रभु ने इनको टीचिंग्स दी थी। फिर उसको कंपाइल करके वो रूप गोस्वामी उसको भक्ति रसामृत सिंधु में लिखते हैं। इसलिए ये बुक हमारे लिए बहुत ज़्यादा इम्पोर्टेंट है, क्योंकि हम इसी बुक पे जो रूप गोस्वामी की जो टीचिंग्स है उसको फॉलो करते हैं। और साथ ही साथ रूप गोस्वामी और श्री सनातन गोस्वामी ये बहुत ज़्यादा लर्नेड स्कॉलर्स थे, कोई ऐसे वैसे डिवोटीज नहीं थे, भगवान के डायरेक्ट पार्षद थे। और मटेरियली भी वो पर्शियन, अरेबिक, बहुत सारी लैंग्वेजेस में वो एक्सपर्ट थे। Okay, so what is Bhakti? Bhakti means devotional service. Every service has some attractive feature that drives the servitor progressively on and on. Every one of us within this material world is perpetually engaged in some sort of service, and the impetus for such service is the pleasure we derive from it. Driven by affection for his wife and children, a family man works day and night. A philanthropist works in the same way for love of the greater family, and a nationalist for the cause of country and countrymen. That force which drives the philanthropist, the householder, the nationalist called rasa, or a kind of mallow whose taste is very sweet. Bhakti rasa is a mallow different from the ordinary enjoyed by mundane workers. Mundane workers labor very hard day and night in order to relish a certain kind of rasa that is understood as sense gratification. The relish or taste of the mundane rasa does not long endure, and therefore mundane workers always apt to change their position of enjoyment. A businessman is not satisfied by working the whole week. Therefore, wanting a change for the weekend, he goes to a place where he tries to forget his business activities. And after the weekend is spent in forgetfulness, he again changes his position and resumes his actual business activities. Material engagement means accepting a particular status for some time and then changing it. This position of changing back and forth is technically known as bhuvatyag, which means a position of alternating sense enjoyment and renunciation.
A living entity cannot steadily remain either in sense enjoyment or in renunciation. Change is going on perpetually, and you cannot be happy in either state because of your eternal constitutional position. This gratification does not endure for long, and it is therefore called chapal sukha, or flickering happiness. For example, an ordinary family who works very hard day and night and is successful in giving comfort to the members of his family relishes all kind of mellow. But his whole advancement of material happiness immediately terminates along with his body as soon as his life is over. Death is therefore taken as a representative of God for the atheistic class of men. Devotee realizes the presence of God by devotional service, whereas the atheist realizes the presence of God in the shape of death. At death, everything is finished, and one has to begin a new chapter of life in a new situation, perhaps higher or lower than the last one. In any field of activity, political, social, national, or international, the result of our actions will be finished with the end of our life, that is sure.
Okay,